guys, I'm Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I do videos about ADHD, life, and pretty much anything. At the moment it's a little bit more ADHD, but eventually we will branch out into a few other things when I run out of things to talk about. So you all really liked the video that I originally did, which was ADHD symptoms that people don't talk about, or symptoms that aren't scientific and recognized as official symptoms. So I thought I'd do you a part 2. Now, I'm not gonna lie, for this, I kind of enlisted the help of some research on Reddit and other ADHD platforms, and there's tons more that can come out of it as well. If I've forgotten any other symptoms, feel free to leave them as a comment down below as always, and help everybody else out, try and find a little bit of, I don't know, normality in the way they feel, their little quirks and things that might be related to ADHD. Now, as always, I am not a licensed ADHD practitioner. I am just a neurospicy girl who lives with this, diagnosed on a day-to-day basis. But these are symptoms that I have found I personally go through, that other people seem to share, that seem to be collectively ADD/ADHD related. So let's get into more ADHD/ADD symptoms and traits that people don't talk about that completely are ADHD symptoms and traits. There was no other way of saying that, was there? Number 1, I really like this one. So, not being able to commit to a film, wanting to watch a movie, loving movies, being able to like say, oh, I really fancy a movie, and then not being able to commit to it because it feels so long that you couldn't physically sit down. You can't even fathom your own brain being like, I've got too much to do, I cannot sit and do that for that long. However, watching a TV program and then binging it all night and watching like 10 different episodes, which pretty much amount to like 10 hours, but in your head you physically cannot comprehend watching a movie for what, like an hour and a half, but you'll be able to sit all day and binge a TV show. Anybody else have that? Apparently that's a trait. I think it's more the, like, commitment in general feels like a really big thing for anybody with ADHD, so whether or not that's committing to a project that you know is going to take a little bit more mental effort, that yes, if you just started it, you'd be able to do it and you'd love it and whatever. It pretty much falls under movies, but the reason I've included it in this is because there's a really interesting trait that I find in myself, I saw that other people do as well, is that if you go to the cinema and watch a film, oh my, it's like you are completely immersed. I think it's to do with the stimulation of the environment and being able to tune into the cinema and not have to have your phone out or any other distractions that allow you to just sit and watch the film and you get really excited and you've maybe got food. And I thought that was a really interesting trait. It's definitely a symptom, like you cannot physically commit to a movie just off your own back unless it's something you really want to watch or unless you're in the mood. But in the cinema, you could sit all day and go in film after film after film, and like the sensory deprivation of having like a dark room, big cinema screen, just that to hyper focus on. The next is a pretty common symptom that I guarantee every one of you watching will understand and know, and that while it is loosely mentioned when discussing symptoms, nobody truly explains the gravity of this feeling, and that is always being tired. Every day, no matter how much you sleep, always being tired. Being able to sleep 48 hours in a row and still waking up and going, could go back to bed, still very tired. Almost like depression level sleeping, but just not. You're just always tired. No amount of sleep or no amount of exercise or anything will undercut that. And some days you can be a little bit more awake than others. Some days the tiredness, like, it's there, but it doesn't really impact your life. Kind of this like feeling of just, I'm always tired. It never goes. I'm always yawning. I'm tired. I need energy. I need medication. I need tablets. We know obviously that's a lack of dopamine. Scientifically there's research into that, but nobody really talks to you about how tired you'll be, like how tired you are all the time, and especially like waking up in the morning with a brain fog that you just physically cannot get up out of bed. Like your bed feels so warm, so secure, even if you're excited for the day, even if you've got so much you want to do but in a fun way, and you're like, can't wait to get up, can't wait to go do this. Almost that like shouting with yourself as an inner monologue, being like, get up. Yes, you've had loads of sleep, like you don't need any more sleep, you're really excited for today, like get up, enjoy yourself, and then you just, nope, can't do it. So that's a big trait. Tired all the time. Tired is like our middle name. It's like our whole persona. We're always tired. The next is online shopping, loads. And there's the impulsivity one I think I spoke about in the last video. So not on about being impulsive and just buying stuff all the time. Putting everything in your shopping cart upon multiple different websites and then just leaving them there. Never really going back to them. I think I have about 1 million different carts of just like items just waiting for me. The amount of emails I get every day. Are you ready to check out? Just reminding you, you've still got some things in your checkout that you might want to look at. No, I just wanted to window shop. I just wanted that quick dopamine hit. I'm medicated, so I can understand that I actually probably don't need to buy these things. I want to. Oh, believe me, I want to. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep them in the cart. And then if I still want them in like a week, maybe I'll go back to them. And then never taking it out of the cart. And then looking back when you do the next doom scroll or the next online shop and then you've left loads of things in your cart. Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh, I still want that. That's really cool. And then doing the whole process again and again. That is apparently an ADHD trait nobody tells you about. But yeah, do you put loads of stuff in your shopping cart? Especially when you're able to curb your impulses and go, well, it's fine. I'm not going to buy it, but I am going to put it in my cart and I am going to pretend I've done it, and then get really excited. Get devastated when it doesn't arrive in the post because you remember, oh yeah, I didn't actually buy that. But then be proud of yourself because you didn't actually buy it. So there are also studies as well. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a practitioner. I do not have any basis, but if you go and Google and go and look at actual medical professionals who have looked into this, there is apparently a correlation between ADHD and autism. Now, quite a lot of the traits kind of blend into two. So a lot of autistic traits can be seen in people with ADHD, and a lot of ADHD traits can be seen in people with autism. It is a spectrum that kind of does blend in different ways. Both have completely different scales and are two completely different neurodivergent disorders. However, they do have quite a few crossovers. So it might be hard when you're looking for your diagnosis to see that, well, do I have autism? Do I have ADHD? Like, I'm not quite sure. And one of the things that blends over is the notion of having a certain tic or stimming. For me personally, I always find if I'm stressed, I don't pick my eyelashes. It's really weird. I will separate them like this. So if I'm stressed, you'll find me like playing with my eyelashes, and sometimes I will like pull on my hair, not to the point where I pull it out. I won't pull the hair out, but like I'll pull it almost to like feel that little like tension pull. And then same again with biting my nails, which is a pretty standard one. With the eyelashes, again, it's like this. And then same with like brows. Sometimes I will touch my brows and stuff like that. I used to have a really bad problem with like picking my eyelashes, especially when I've got mascara on. I hate like the feeling of the mascara. I love obviously wearing mascara, but I hate the feeling of it. So if I'm like trying to focus on anything or I'm watching telly, then that will be one of the stims that I will do. There's loads of different types, there's loads of different tics. Some things you might not even realize are tics that you may have had, or you might not associate it with stimming because it's so minuscule that you do it. Another thing as well that I get laughed at a lot is if I'm laying in bed, like I will like put my arm over and then I'll do that like that. So it can manifest itself in different ways, but it's ways that I regulate my focus and I'm able to almost quieten everything. I won't even notice I'm doing it. I'll be subconsciously doing it, and then occasionally I'll notice and be like, oh, I'm doing it again, and then it'll pass. So there's another symptom that you might find that you do. Yours may be completely different to mine. It might be that you, I don't know, you just play with a certain finger, or you play with leg hair, arm hair, any kind of hair whatsoever. It might be that you twirl your hair all the time. You're constantly like this. This is a form of stimming as well. Everybody has something different. It could be that you pick if you have any skin on your lips. It could be that you pick your lips. It could just be that you pick your lips in general. I've seen a few people do that. But yeah, do you have any certain tics or stimming things that you do? Comment below. I'd love to hear what else everybody else does. Having a complete lack of spatial awareness is also another ADHD symptom that nobody tells you about. It's kind of like having a bit of dyspraxia. If you don't know what dyspraxia is, I was made aware of because a loved one close to me actually had it. I did not know about it before. There's loads of different elements to dyspraxia, so I'm not going to go fully into it, but one of the biggest traits that is shared with this for ADHD is, for lack of a better word, clumsiness. Being unable to, not quite being aware of your surroundings. So you'll walk into things, or you'll headbutt things, or hit things with your elbow, or if you're walking past the bed. Like my biggest ones are when I'm walking around the bed, there's like little bits that kind of on the bed that are really sharp, and I will always walk into them and always scrape my knee. The amount of bruises I have on my body, I bruise like a peach. The amount of bruises I have on my body from either hitting my doorknob as I'm walking past or hitting the side of the bed, and I never ever think to go, oh, if I just walk out a little bit more and then walk around it, it'll be fine. I always forget. I always hit into it. I'm always hitting into the corners. I always take the corner of my stairs a little bit too fast and then like walk into the side. So that's also apparently another trait. Lack of complete spatial awareness. Misjudging where it is you need to walk around things can also be classed as an ADHD trait that might not have been explained to you before. Oversharing everything about your life and then immediately regretting it, or not regretting it, just oversharing. That is a huge ADHD trait. Neurodiverse people are either very closed in and very to themselves, or they're just over the top and oversharing with everyone because they want people to relate to them and understand and feel like they can talk and have an open space. A lot of the time that can come with oversharing and wanting to share information that they're like, no, I get it, like I'm with you, I completely understand what you're going through. But sometimes that can mean sharing a little bit too much of your life that in the moment you're like, Did I really need to talk about my toilet issues with somebody who said that they just had a bit of a sore stomach? Did I need to tell somebody that ginger hurts my IBS to the point of, and then go into extreme detail? No, I probably didn't. I did it out of a place of love, but I probably didn't need to tell you that. I probably didn't need to tell the person on the phone that I was looking for a new flat, all about the reasons why I'm looking for a new flat, because I'm no longer with my partner, and this is what happened, and this is why I need a new... They don't care. They don't have the time. Like, they don't need to hear that. The amount of taxi drivers that know my entire life story, and the poor people didn't even need to know. I always tip them. If I've gone on a bit of an ADHD rant, I'll always tip them. And I feel like, I don't know, it's a nice blend of being an open book and always wanting to have that human connection and be very understanding and relatable, and also let people know that I get you. I've spent so long feeling like people don't understand what's going on in my brain that I'll almost overshare everything, because I'm not only clutching at straws to find people that get me and understand what I'm going through, but also if I can make you feel a little bit better about what you're going through, then I'll absolutely overshare in the hopes that you'll be like, oh, she gets it. Oh my God, she knows what I'm talking about. Oh God, the amount of posts I've seen on Reddit that are just like, how do I stop oversharing with my colleagues? Or like, how do I stop oversharing with my dentist or my doctor that just really does not need to know half this stuff? It's fine, it is what it is. Let's overshare together. As long as you're not oversharing other people's secret private stuff, and as long as you are being authentic to yourself, who cares if you overshare a little bit? People can always just say to you like, whoa, I didn't need to know that. And then you can go, oops, sorry. Forgetting that people, things, places, things you've discussed, anything at all exists for months on end. A huge symptom of ADHD is memory forgetfulness, like lack of memory fog. Now, I don't know if you're like me, whereas I retain so much information every day that I think I kind of just like stuff it all to the back. Or if like friends ask me certain things like, oh, what's my favorite color? I'm like, I do not know. It's like I've never known you my entire life. Sometimes the trait can be that you might love something so much, but in that moment when you're asked to provide proof or evidence that you love it, kind of can't. Like, it's almost like you've been put on the spot and you're like, oh no, I can't do this. Maybe I don't love it the way I think I do. And then someone will give you a slither of information that will remind you, and it'll all flow back. It'll be like, yep, no, I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yep, thank you for reminding me. I think personally the reason behind it is because our brains retain so much more than the average person that if we were to also remember that immediately, we'd probably pop. But it's a symptom. It's a symptom that quite a lot of people go through. So if you feel really awful that you're terrible at remembering dates, names, people, places, appointments, for months on end, and then you're like, oh my God, yeah, I remember that person, or somebody that you went to school with, and then they're like, hi Katie, it's been so long since I've seen you, and I'm like, oh my God, hi, person who I do not know what's with, but I'm gonna pretend I do. Hi, how you doing? And then they're like, oh yeah, I saw Derek the other day, and you're like, oh, Derek, you're right. It's easy to forget. Don't feel bad about it. Work your way through it. It's okay. Or just be honest in the moment. Be like, I'm so sorry. My memory is awful. Could you just please remind me who you are? I know it's embarrassing, but screw it. Stop apologizing for your ADHD. Start telling people, I can't help it. Please remind me who you are. And again, in the interest of, I'm really trying to condense down these videos and not make them like 40 minutes long every single time. That's pretty much my list so far of the part 2 of other symptoms of ADHD/ADD that people don't tell you about before you have your diagnosis that tends to be similar. But if you can think of any others, please put them down below for everybody else to share and look at. And I'm sure there are tons more. And if there are, I'll compile them all to another video and I'll make a third. I'll keep making these videos as long as more and more and more symptoms and traits and quirks or whatever you want to call them come out. I'll put them in a video to make sure that more people feel aware and understood and heard about their diagnosis or potential symptoms they have for ADHD. Once again, if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It can help other people see it too, who may also be struggling to come to terms with a diagnosis or whether or not they've even got ADHD/ADD. So it would really help if you would, and any comments below would help too. But also don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I will be posting out a lot more videos. Please hold me accountable, because the more you hold me accountable, the more videos I make, and I get to help you guys, and this is one of my favorite things to do in the whole world. If there's ever any questions or anything you need to know, not even just about ADHD, about life or anything so far, please drop me a message and I will do what I can to make you a video if I don't have enough space to answer the question in the comments below. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again in the next video.